What's up, y'all? Thank you for tuning into Sim's Vessel, where valiant, eclectic Samaritans share everyday lessons. It's your girl, Sim. Thank y'all so much for tuning into my podcast, where we will speak the truth, never hide but heal, and keep that shit all the way real. Let's face it, life does not come with a manual, so we go through life making dumbass decisions, constantly battling with who we are now versus who the hell we want to be, and no damn roadmap on how we plan to get there. We're just lost, trying to figure it out the best way we know how. And on top of that, we let our pride and ego stop us from asking for help. Let's break these generational curses, y'all, together and level up. We are only going to get one shot at life. We do not have fucking time to waste, okay? Let's get it. Welcome back, tribe, to the 6th episode on the part 2 series of the Free Your Mind questions. So the first question is, what have been the most defining moments that have helped shape my life? The follow-up question to that, which is a 2-part, is what is the most courageous thing I've done and how did it make me feel? Okay, so when I think of this question, 2 instances stick out for me that happened consecutively in my life. The first one is going to jail for almost 2 days, and the other is being court ordered to attend anger management. Have you ever experienced that feeling of wanting to express yourself concisely and effectively, but when you interact with others, they experience the fucking opposite of that shit? Like everything you done fucking practice in your damn head of how you thought this was going to turn out did not. What did you do? That's how I felt. So we about to get into my response to these questions. And I'm going to give you a little backstory and story time, of course, to further answer my questions so that you guys can get an understanding. All right. I was cohabitating with an ex in an apartment to split the cost of bills when every fucking thing in me told me to bounce the fuck up out of there. But what do we do when we feel uncomfortable and don't want to inconvenience our current routine that we know is no longer serving us? The actual relationship with this ex was over, y'all. And I can honestly say that rushing into this to quickly forget my previous ex because I was spiteful back then and knew that it would piss her ass off. So that was part of the reason why I did it. Not all of it, but it was definitely a part of the reason because I was childish. But anyway, I told y'all, if I give into my flesh and destructive behavior, that shit will land my ass in the petty lane. Now, the ex resorting to me going to jail, we did have a strong connection and was always attracted to one another, but we were always with other people and we had mutual friends. We'd end up at the same gatherings or parties, but this relationship started too quickly for me. And I ignored all of the red flags because at that time, I was in a place where I was not comfortable being alone. And through my healing, I had to really let that shit sink all the fucking way in. This ex was older, and so here my ass thought that this would be a more mature relationship. And in some ways, it was. But the cons outweighed the pros. And for me, no ma'am, no, no. And with the cons outweighing the pros, of course, the relationship was not extensive in terms of length of time because of all of these back-to-back incompatibilities between us. In no shape or form do I regret, this experience and being with this person. I don't regret any experiences, whether it was a relationship, whether it was a friendship, situations with family. I don't regret any damn thing. I don't. And I'm going to tell y'all why. Because why am I going to regret it when I know that it helped shape me to who the fuck I am today? I'm not saying that I might not be embarrassed or that I handled things in the past in the best of ways. What I'm saying is I don't regret it because it was necessary for my ass to fucking grow. This ex is not a bad person. We all have trauma and hers was not healed at that time. Neither was mine. She acted out way more than I could have ever imagined based off her unhealed trauma. And that trauma is spilled over into our relationship in a toxic way. This relationship was the pivotal lesson in my life that shaped the new path of my life. And it forced me to look at my flaws, my mistakes, the reoccurring bad behavior aiding in me making the same dumbass mistake over and over. Let me get into this story time of the events landing my ass in jail, y'all. Because, child, in no way am I here to bash my ex, which is why I refer to them as exes and would never disclose their names or specifics because it's their story to tell. And I'm just sharing my experiences and learn lessons so that I can help other motherfuckers grow. Okay? Got it? Cool. Let's go. So, it was a fight with the ex. That's how I ended up the fucking jail. We both went out that night. She went one place. I went one place with some of my friends. But we had a discussion before we went out that she would not lock all of the locks because, y'all, where we fucking live, there was like 2 locks to get in through the gate, like the porch gate, patio, whatever fucking kind of door, the screen door. It was 2 locks already on that. Then it was a door behind the screen door that had a lock. And then the door to our actual apartment had about 3 motherfucking locks on there. So I was not trucking all them goddamn keys with me to no damn club. So she knew not to lock all of those damn locks, to only lock one on all the fucking doors because I wasn't bringing them damn keys. But I should have known better because this particular ex was childish. She was very, very petty when she was hurt or when she was trying to be spiteful. And it was the spite for me. It was so unexpected because she was so loving at the same time. But that motherfucker, I mean, I know everybody got another side to them, but let me just give you some examples of how she would really exert this kind of behavior. Like, she would hide my fucking IDs. You seen she done locked every goddamn lock on there. Motherfucker probably went out and bought some damn locks upon his fucking door just to make me upset. And just so that I could be stranded the fuck outside. It's one damn thing. You ever been back in when you was a child and you walking home or you done got home, but your ass don't got a key to get the fuck inside, and so you sitting on the goddamn steps or in between the damn door waiting for somebody to come home or gotta go sit in a friend or a neighbor house. That is the feeling that I feel like she wanted me to experience that day. Like, since her ass want to go out, okay, she ain't gonna make it the fuck back inside. But let me get back to the story. Like I said, we both went out that night to separate locations. And she reached home before I had, which I knew would be the case because she didn't really go far. I kind of went on the opposite side of town. So it was going to take me at least a half an hour to get home. My ride dropped me off, and sure enough, her childish ass locked all the damn locks. And anyone who lived in Philly or has lived in Philly or went to Philly in March, they know how fucking cold it can be in the wee hours around 2 a.m. or so in fucking March. In March. She finally unlocked the door after I kept on banging on the door, calling her. Then I could already tell that she was drunk as shit. So I was like, Lord, today I don't have the time. I don't have the time. It's 2:00. I'm not drunk, but I'm a little between drunk and fucking tipsy. So I was in the middle. That's where I was at. I was in the middle somewhere. However, I was not drunk enough to know that I don't got no damn time. I don't have time to be sitting here arguing with you at no 2:00 in no fucking morning about no damn dope. So she finally unlocked the door, and her ass is drunk. Like I told y'all, she was drunk and want to argue now. Man, I have no time for the foolishness at 2 a.m. 2 a.m. No, man, I have time. So I get in, my ride pull off, and I'm trying to get ready. I'm trying to take off my clothes, get in the shower, because I wanted to just lay down. It was already late, under the influence. This motherfucker want to argue. She want to argue, and I don't got time for that. So I was ignoring her. And when I started ignoring her ass, I said, all right, she obviously ain't gonna shut the fuck up. So I began packing me a damn overnight bag because that's how tired I was, y'all. You got to remember, I was working full time. I was in school full time. And I just got done going to the damn club. I'm tired. I want to go to bed. I don't want to have this conversation right now. Whatever it is, ain't that damn serious. Nobody's hurt. Ain't no emergency. We can wait until tomorrow when we are both sober and we can have a cool, calm, and collected conversation. Nope, that wasn't the case. Me ignoring her, and when I began packing a bag, because at that point, I done called my friend to come back and get me, to take me to my parents' house for the night, which must have pissed her ass even more, because then Shorty started throwing my shit out the fucking door, y'all, screaming, oh, you want to pack? Well, let me help you pack. Like, my ass can laugh now, but I definitely definitely was not the fuck laughing in the damn moment. So I felt myself heating up. Yo, like at the time of vex, me want to give her one blood clot across her face. But I'm trying to hold on to my composure that was very, very frail and thin, y'all. Very, very fucking damn near transparent, translucent. It was like zero. And if it was something there, it was like, you blink, it's gone. Like, you couldn't see it. I really didn't have no patience back then. So I said, all right, the best thing I can do in this moment is to leave, go to my parents' house. So my homegirl on her way coming back. And when I get to packing my stuff and getting my stuff together, this motherfucker started throwing my shit out the damn door. Started throwing my shit out the fucking door, yo. Like, oh my gosh. My gosh. Yes. And I couldn't. And I know when I called my friend, it threw her ass for a loop because, you know, I didn't have enough time to really catch her up because I was still, at this point now, responding to some of the things that she's saying because now she's throwing some shit that's below the belt that I told her in confidence. And it's kind of like, how the fuck you get from locking this bitch up like we in Fort Knox to throwing my shit out the damn door, and now you bringing up shit that I told you in confidence? Like, that's what we doing over here. That's where we at. It was definitely time for me to fucking go. Definitely time. So I say, you know what? I went outside, what I did, managed to pack because at this time, you know, she's blocking the door. She want to fight. Now, we have never gotten like super physical before then, but that's another damn fucking story that we'll get into because this will be too fucking long as a story time for this episode. But anyway, I get outside because at this point I'm just ready to go. So when my friend finally pull up, she you know, she's in the car, she's waiting for me to get in. So I open up her back door to put my little suitcase in there because I was going to go back, and I had my little purse, I had my suitcase, but there was another bag that I needed to go get, my school bag that had all, you know, my laptop and all that in there. And my phone ended up dropping in between me trying to get out the door and her being in the doorway. So I just left it. And I was planning to fucking go, but then I was like, yo, no, I'm gonna need all this because I also had to work the next day. And like I said, I was in school, so I had homework I need to turn in. So when I'm trying to put the suitcase in the back seat, she is like pushing the car door on my side. At this time, I'm smaller frame. I'm between a 5 and a 7. I was smaller frame, so, you know, I didn't really have that fucking much on me to be carrying no goddamn door hit me on the fucking side. And then I was in a short dress, so I was not here for it. You know, a club dress, a small peacoat, and some 6-inch fucking heels. 6-inch heels. Like, no. At this point, and the nonsense, I lost it. I lost it because she kept slamming my side in the door. And I lost balance the last time and fell. I fell on the fucking cement, the concrete, and scraped my leg and my knee up, and it was bleeding. So now, me done. Me just done. Done. I told her, I said, yo, like, I need you to hear me good. You got one more fucking time to push me. One more time. And so because my friend was now trying to get in the middle of us to intervene, that pissed her off. And she started to flex like she wanted the box. And I blacked out because she's now, my friend got out to get between us. She ran to get into my friend's car in the front seat. So she is, just imagine the driver's seat. And she is like laying on her side, but kind of like on her back. Mostly on her back, actual driver's seat. Her hand, she got one leg in there, foot on the brake so that she could, you know, change the gear and put it into drive because the car was still running, but it was in park because we didn't intend to be going through all this bullshit at 2-something in the fucking morning now. I told her to pick me up. She ain't know she was about to come down and witness no fucking boxing match or no kind of damn reality show. Like she didn't think of that. She was just trying to be a good friend, and I really, like, appreciated her ass for that shit. But, yo, at that point when she did this, and she was trying to still, like, drive the car away so that I wouldn't be able to leave and my friend wouldn't have her car, yo, I blacked. I blacked out, and I kirked. And all I know was that I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't take it anymore. And so I got on top of her. and just kept delivering headshots because I was just done. I was so done. The whole relationship played out in my head. All the things, all the petty things that she was doing leading up to that moment, the actions of this night, like, you just took this shit too far. Why did you have so little fucking self-control to allow me to go? You were that upset that I was leaving to go to my parents' house because you thought that I was probably going to go to my friend's house. That's probably what you thought. I told you where I was going. Like, I guess that wasn't enough. And even if I was driving off to go to somebody else's house, that is none of your business because we are not together. We wasn't together for a long time. But she couldn't fucking get over that. So as I said, I'm giving her headshots now and I'm just not stopping. Like, I'm just like fucking her ass up. And I really don't know. I know that my punches was directed to like her, I would say, neck up. So I really don't know because I blacked out where I was hitting her. I just know I was hitting her. And my friend managed to pull me off of her. And it was like just in enough time because when she did that, my ex managed to put the car in park and pulled off. So now I'm like, yo, like, how much worse can this night get? Like, seriously, what the fuck? So me and my friend looking like, hold on, did she just do this? It just happened that fast, y'all, that fucking fast. And then she went to the middle of the end of the block. So, you know, in Philly, a small block. So just imagine like a small block, a little intersection, and then another small block. That's how the street was that we lived on. And she went to the middle. In the middle. She didn't park it like at the stop sign. She parked it in the fucking middle and blocked traffic. And when she then walked back up to the house. So my friend ended up going down to get the car while, you know, she walking up here to the house. And I'm like, what the fuck is you doing? But mind you, when she came out, she locked the front door. So I wasn't able to go back inside the house and go get my items because all I wanted, the only reason why I was still there, I was going to put the suitcase in the car, go in and get my damn laptop and stuff, my school bag. And she locked the shit. So I couldn't even get the fuck in. So when she coming up there, I'm like, this is what you doing? This is what the fuck you doing? She was like, yeah, now y'all can go walk the fuck down the street and get in the car. So I said, you know, my friend ended up driving back around the corner and was back in front of the house. And next thing I know, I said, you know what? I told my friend to call the police. Like, call 911 because I was over this shit. Why? And I knew to fucking leave, yo. I knew it. And I still ignored it because back then, yo, like, it's like, oh, you get me? Oh, I'm not leaving till I got you. I'm not going to leave until I'm going to make sure you fucking feel my pain and you feel my wrath. And all I wanted, I wasn't calling the cops for her to get locked up, or I was only calling to be a mediator for me to get my shit and get the fuck. That's all. That's all I wanted to do. And I need y'all to really understand what was my thinking process back then. I was really, really studious, like in college, and I really was determined, y'all, to graduate with honors. So me, I never missed an assignment. I graduated with honors, so I really took it serious. And the fact that I also was working while in school, I didn't really have a lot of time. So the time that I dedicated to put towards it was the time that I dedicated to fucking do my damn work. I didn't like being, you know, thrown off, and I didn't want to procrastinate because I was determined. So when she called it, I'm waiting, the motherfuckers didn't come. Like, my friend called 3 times, and they never came. Shorty called because at this time she keep toying, going inside, coming outside, standing on the porch, going inside, talking her shit. So now it's cold as shit. So we in the car waiting for the police to show up, but with the heat on, and these people never fucking came. She called one time, the ex called one time and said that there were trespassers, and they came in less than 10 minutes, y'all. Less than 10 minutes. Now, this ex was fair skinned. So that means she was very light. For y'all who don't know what that means, she's light skinned. And so the cops took one look at her. And at that time, the bill recently passed on domestic situations. The aggressor, or whoever they deemed was the aggressor in the situation, they had the least amount of bruises, whatever happened to them, that they would intervene and they would press charges and take them in. Because, you know, before, you know, people would be fucked up, and if the cops say, oh, do you want to press charges, and they say no, it was nothing they could do about it. So they recently passed that bill. Lucky fucking me at the time. And when they came back over to me after they spoke to her, they lied to me and said, we're going to take both of you downtown. not downtown, the precinct, and we want y'all to provide statements on what took place. So I'm like, okay. But then instantly in that split second, I could feel like my body just felt like it was a fucking lie, because you then handcuffed me and put me in the back of their car and said that my ex could drive down in her own car to separate us. Like, that's what they said. So I'm like, but why can't my friend fucking drop me off to the damn precinct? Like, please make me understand, because I don't get it. I don't get it. But I was in such a state of shock, because this is the first time that I have been in handcuffs, in a serious matter like this. This was the first time. So I'm like, okay. Now, and then they didn't even give a fuck. I had on a short ass dress. I'm like, can I get some clothes to put on? And they was like, no. So I literally, in that damn suitcase, I know I ain't had nothing to fucking in that fucking match, because I had on some, like capri pajama pants. Looking at hot ass mess, child, underneath my damn dress. I still had on like a waist belt. And my heels, I was luckily able to take off my heels and put on some flats. And just my little small ass peacoat. And the dress that I had on was like spaghetti straps. So much of nothing. Okay? Much of fucking nothing. I had my debit card on me, and I gave my friend my purse and told her to hold on to it so she could bail me out. And no, I didn't even say bail me out. I said, just in case you have to bail me out, because remember, at the time, I thought I was just going down for statements, but like something in my spirit just was like, give her your purse, like give her your bag. So I didn't have my phone. I didn't have like my real ID, like my license. I had a regular ID on me that I wasn't supposed to have, but I had a regular ID on me. Ex had my license, my laptop, all of that shit. She had all of it. And I didn't have a car because she was allowing me to use her car to get back and forth to work and stuff. So I think that what really got me when she did this shit, when I got into the jail, they didn't sit me the fuck down at no damn detective table or shit, even a damn interrogation room to get my fucking statement. They put my ass straight in the fucking holding cell. Straight, like back of the car, door to the damn holding cell. Yep, that's how it was. And so here I am now. Like, okay, so I'm sitting here. So I asked, I'm like, I thought I was supposed to be giving a statement. She was like, oh, we waiting for officer to come down. Like, they don't be giving a fuck about none of the lies they tell your ass when you there. And this was like really, like I said, my first experience. So I would say maybe an hour go by and another young lady. And I knew they ain't give a fuck because this one was barefoot. And I said, oh, okay, that's what we doing. Then maybe an hour after that, they pull me out the cell, and now I'm thinking I'm about to give my statement. Child, they lined my ass up for a fucking mugshot and was reading off the charges. And at that very moment, me can feel fire. Like fire. I mean, just, yo, I was so hurt. Like, I was hurt and shocked. Like, how did I end up here? Like, hold on, roll it back again. What did you say? Repeat this, please. Repeat it. So, they read off my charges of simple assault and endangering another human being. Those are my charges. And I think what also was like the other shoe that dropped for me was the fact that I had done so much, y'all. So much. And have gotten away with it. I couldn't be mad at the situation, but I was absolutely fucking pissed off at my ex. Like, I was out for blood when I got the hell out. Seriously. Especially since she was the antagonizer. And I had warned the cops. And let me tell y'all another reason was sunk in for me. Because as I was getting booked and they put me back into the holding cell, now my mind is just going. It's just going because I'm always going to analyze and figure out a fucking way to get the hell out of whatever situation I'm in. I'm not, like, after the shock wear off, then it's like, I'm gunning now. Like, oh, okay, this is what we playing. So I'm making my case. I'm figuring out, okay, all the people that can write statements, people that have witnessed some of her behavior, exes. Like, I was definitely in lawyer mode because I could not deal with this. And then the moment that really fucked me up, which is why I deserve to be where I was at, was because a couple of months ago, I had warned the cops when I called them the last time, because this is only second real event between her and I, that like something to this magnitude. Because although we weren't together anymore, she still looked at me as hers. And living together was messy as fuck, and I know that now, and it did not help the situation. A couple of months into us living together at that apartment, she'd be wanting to argue. She was in an arguing fucking mood, be really arguing with herself, because I don't really say too much, because for what? You already proved to be somebody who use shit as ammunition. So, no ma'am, not gonna do that. And I was like, I ain't got no time for no words. Like, actions at the time was my drug of choice. And spite led me. So all that talking, I'm not really here for that. She took my phone and hummed it at the fucking wall and broke it because I was ignoring her, son, in that moment. Like, literally, like, picked up, like she was a fucking baseball player or some shit. Like, she was really throwing the damn ball. And it was my phone. And I watched that bitch explode into pieces. Then after that, she took my social security card, my debit card, and my ID. And we were sharing a vehicle. She was allowing me to share her car because at the time, maybe my father had got into a disagreement. And so he took my car. Although it was my car, it was in his name and he took it. Another story for another damn episode. But yeah, I was carless. And she took the keys. She hid my keys. Those were the things that she would do. And that's what I experienced. And when that happened, I had to really compose myself, because in that moment, I felt like a hostage. I felt like I was taken hostage, and that spiked my anger even further. I had to go upstairs and knock on the neighbor's fucking door so I can call the cops. And when these motherfuckers show up, they said there was no sign of aggression. And I told them the next time they came to this address, someone would be going to jail. And look at what the fuck I put out there in the damn universe. Look at that shit, y'all. Look at it. I spoke it into existence. It happened. And so I'm thinking about that moment, because although she bought me a new phone and gave me back my belongings, it didn't take away the feeling that I experienced. And I never ever, although we weren't together then, I definitely did not look at her the same. And the chances of us ever fucking reconciling shit was enough for me. You made me feel helpless and vulnerable. I didn't understand to get the fuck away. I didn't understand it because at the time, I told you, I was afraid to be alone. I was afraid to be alone. And so even though I didn't allow it, I still stayed in that environment that was not conducive to my motherfucking healing or helping my anger. And so I brewed. From that moment, I brewed. And that's why it was easy for me to just be cavalier and ignore her. Because when I'm numb, I'm numb. There is not a fucking thing that you can do. There's nothing. When I'm numb, I have no emotions, no happy, no sad, no I want you or fuck out my face. There's just nothing. Like, you do not exist. Honestly, if I had to describe it, that is my definition of when I'm numb. And that's why for me, it's like, okay, book closed. Move on to the next book. I also found out while I was in the precinct, like, just the way they treated me, son, when I got to the jail, because from the holding cell now this is probably like, I would say 5 o'clock in the morning. It's like 5:30, and one more girl came in, and this girl was locked up, and her foot was fucking broke. They ain't give a shit. That's why I was like, what the hell is going on? I got on gaucho pajama pants. You got one that ain't got no fucking shoes on, and now we got somebody that got a broke foot. Like, what is this? Like, we really look like some goddamn handicapped criminals in the damn holding cell. And I'm like, did they tell y'all? So now I'm trying to ask, like, did they tell y'all was going to come down here and make a statement? Because what the fuck they told me? And this is voila, what the fuck happened. So I want to see how many lies they giving out today. So we finally, around 7 o'clock, I guess they had to wait for 7 o'clock. Maybe that shift changed. I don't fucking know. But they waited till 7 o'clock, and that's when they transferred us from the holding cell to the jail. Child. The ride off, I just bumpy bump. Every rise bump. It thinks that them just do it upon purpose. Them do it upon purpose. If we already fucked up. I'm handcuffed. We all handcuffed behind our back. How we gonna defend ourselves? One foot is broke over here. This girl ain't got no damn shoes on. And it was cold as shit. So even touching the damn floor of the paddy wagon was, I guess, gonna send her ass into shock. So we couldn't do that. And then for me, first of all, I back then I was a germaphobe, so I'm still a germaphobe now, but not to the extent I was back then. So I definitely wasn't touching jack shit, and it's like everybody for themselves. Stay on your side, roll on your side. Don't come roll on my side. So we through this bumpy ass ride, we finally get there. And we're in a row now. It's like, a jail, but a holding cell. Well, I don't know what fucking block we was on, whatever it was, but I know we was downtown now in the damn jail. And when we getting processed and booked, it was like one of the most embarrassing moments of my life. And it made me feel so low. It really made me feel low. And I just couldn't understand how I ended up here in the moment. I got my healing after the fact, but I couldn't understand it because when that started to process and fingerprint and do all that shit, they strip searched us, even though they didn't give us a uniform yet because they were actually transferring us. So I guess this Philly jail at the time, they didn't. It was only a holding cell until you met with the judge, and then they would take you up to Westchester or whatever, the prison out there. Being stripped of my belt, and I had the string in my pajamas. They took that. Anything that I could use to harm myself. And they put 4 of us in this small ass fucking cell. Toilet just out in the open. And I just sat there. I couldn't express any emotion because I definitely did not cry in fucking public. That was a no. And I think that was during the time where, I stopped showing emotions. And I didn't cry for about 5 years. Like a real cry, I didn't. I would let a tear or 2 escape. And then that was it. That was it for me. They gave us some hard-ass cheese sandwiches that I did not eat. And they gave us little, mini waters. And that was it. And so I just drank the waters, and I would give my sandwich to the other girls, and they would give us these wristbands. But it's a lot of details in this story, so I don't want to go over everything because I am very detail oriented. So I may do a part 2 of my, of the other details that I'm leaving out of this episode of my jail experience and everything that had happened after that, leading up to me moving to the DMV, because it's way more than this, but I'm trying to, just shorten it so I can just hit on the key points of my answers to the questions without doing too much. You feel me? All right. So I bail out. My friend picked me up and I go to my parents' house. And when I get to my parents' house, it's kind of like it's just a part 2 because she ended up lying. She ended up lying to my mom, and they were looking for me, and she told my mom that I got into a fight at the club. I was in a jail by the club, which was a completely different fucking precinct across town from where I was from. She master reset. She erased all my information. I literally had to start completely over in your phone. Can you imagine not doing a fucking backup and you just completely lose it? That's the experience that I had. So I prepared for, my day of court, which I think was 3.5 weeks, I want to say. It wasn't too far away from the incident. And when I got to court, I'm all, talking to this public defender that I had every intention on just saying what the fuck I need to damn say. But anyway, she was telling me they didn't even look at my shit, at all. It was literally, we went up there, she showed up, and she was saying she didn't press charges, she didn't press charges, but I already knew by then the bill that had passed. So the judge didn't even hear anything that I had to say and was based on the evidence from the police officers and the pictures of her face, I was charged with the simple assault and the endangering another human being. They were giving me 2 years in prison. I had to go for 2 years. And then they was like, since this is your first offense, you can go to anger management. We're court ordering you to go to anger management instead. And so I was like, what? So I'm in a state of shock. I'm starting our way over. I find out now I gotta go to fucking anger management and pay for the shit. I had to completely, like, there was no working with your schedule. Like, you had to work your schedule around them. And luckily, like, I would work 6 months on and then be off for 6 months and go back. And so I was off, but I was due to go back within that month. So I'm like, what? And then I got out. I'm staying at my parents' house because I had a court order to stay away from the apartment because I looked like the aggressor. So I couldn't go to the apartment. She had to drop off things to my parents' house, like clothes and stuff, and drop my, that's when she dropped my phone off and I found out what she did. And I just could not. But the thing that fucked me up, son, is when I looked at her face, I did not imagine. Like, I felt so fucking bad for what I did to her. Nothing, even though she was being spiteful, even though she was carrying on, nothing in that moment was ever that deep enough for me to put my hands on her and for her face to look like that. I was fucking ashamed. I was ashamed. I lost my job at the post office because these charges were pending on my record until the completion of my anger management and court date. Had to work 2 part-time jobs with full-time hours, which didn't make sense, but your girl was hella grateful for the additional hours so I could maintain my fucking bills. I had to be vulnerable. And the right opportunity came along, and my cousin relocated to the DMV area and needed assistance with my niece until her benefits transferred over. And I was always down there any fucking way visiting her because it was a huge relief. And at the time, experiencing depression, taking care of my disabled mother, taking away, like walking away from my younger siblings who looked at me as a second mom and comfort zone. You feel me? Like, it really messed me up. Like, I was just in a really bad headspace because I knew I wanted to leave, but I knew I had to clean this up before I could even go, because what life was I going to have with something pending on my record? I really couldn't find a good ass damn job. And what was I going to do? So I had to sit in it. And I had to be humble. I had to be humble. And all while experiencing this, I just felt like a failure. And I had to really, really humble myself if I wanted a chance at living and finally solely being independent, because it was overdue. So I made up a plan. Because honestly, I'm an analyzer. And I had to completely break down and ask myself, what the fuck you gonna do? Because continuing to sit around feeling sorry for yourself because you done fucked up, that ain't gonna cut it. You have an apartment your ass can't go to. You living with your parents. You lost your good paying job and working 2 part-time jobs. You're still in school for my damn bachelor's and pushing myself not to only finish on time, but not to take a fucking semester off. Because I was hella, detailed in the time frame. Anyway, no car because my father took it, I told y'all, because of disagreement. So yeah, this move was a pure, unexpected lifeline from the higher ups. And this time I was in a place to fucking receive it. I knew that I fucked up, but I knew I was going to make a plan. And my plan was to clean this all up in Philly. And the moment I do, I'm out. And I said it. I stuck to my damn plan. But that shit was not, let me say it again, it was not smooth fucking sailing, okay? Because although I decided to move out of Philly once I was able to clear this shit up, I was still in the midst of clearing this shit up, and I was very, 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 very resistant, okay? Very resistant, because at this time, I'm pissed. I don't trust any fucking body, and I'm trying to get the fuck out of here. But I got to go through some shit that I ain't never had to go through before. And I got to be vulnerable and I got to participate. And I was not fucking in the mood for that. Because at the time, I'm still trying to understand, although I regret putting my hands on her, I know that experience had to happen. Because that's the only fucking reason it got to be that my ass is still here. I had to figure out a way to be in a place of bravery, of fuel, and pure determination to turn my life into a life I would be proud to live, which started my fucking spiritual journey in small and frequent ways with hard lessons, no idea on who I was, and no fucking clue on where I needed to start. So I go to therapy. But me going to therapy ties into the second half of this question. So my decision to move to the DMV answers the other half of this question, which is, what is the most courageous thing I've done? And how did it make me feel? Y'all, moving out of Philly and everything I knew and loved was hard, but I wanted to take a chance on faith and me. I needed to get away from every fucking thing familiar to clear and funnel out everyone's expectations of me, and started discussing this with myself. And at the same time, bracing myself for the reality check that I would have to completely start over from scratch. Because I would be leaving Philly with clothes, shoes, and small savings. Without being court ordered to attend anger management, honestly, I would either be locked up for my anger and reckless behavior or death. Because Misery was already my fucking best friend at the time, and her ass was not the fuck helping me. And I kept allowing her ass to do it. I only realized she had to go when the therapist assisting with the anger management class came and sat my ass the fuck down and held one of the realest and honest fucking conversations, y'all, I will always hold close to my heart, and change my outlook on life. See, your girl went in there tripping. My ass would not comply with their program and would not participate, and showed my ass because here come Misery's sister, Control. She, who couldn't see the parts I played and was doing and has power behind them. I couldn't see it. Therapist could tell that I had a future and was bigger than the situation that I currently found myself in, but I couldn't see the shit for myself. But the way she carried herself and piqued my interest, and her spirit connected with mine, I gave her my full attention and respect was hard for people to get from me. So a little info on the anger management. The stipulation on attending classes, you were only allowed to miss one meeting. And the second one that you miss, meaning me, I would go to jail. And I would have to serve the 2 years. It was like a one strike fucking option. Like the therapist there, because it was a therapist that assisted the anger management counselor. But this one, I think she really took a liking to me. Like I think that she really enjoyed helping, but she's seen certain people she could help. Like she could really inspire. And I was, I'm really grateful for that, because if you was thinking that I was going to just participate all willy-nilly, like there was a no for me. Put me on a no list. But this therapist, she helped me realize how my decisions led to my reactions and consequences, and how to channel my anger, my embarrassment, my lack of control into fuel to better myself, so I could take responsibility of my actions, because only I can control myself and no one else. She taught me how to differentiate between picking my battles and choosing what I wanted to react to, and weigh my consequences. Of course, I had no clue on how to fucking do this, but when my ass started participating and giving anger management a try, it blew my mind, and it turned into an escape for me, to be honest. I got a relief from my depression stemming from my actions and shame, or the situation I was in, and for what I did to a person I once said I loved. And all of it was extremely hard to deal with, but I was not alone, and I found solace in the other individuals sharing some of the same experiences, and some that were worse, but in a safe place without judgment. And so sign me up. I completed. Returned to court. I was proud, y'all. I was proud with my anger management certificate. And the charges were dropped, and my record was finally free and expunged, which was all I was waiting for to prepare the final touches on my goddamn move. So when I got there, I wouldn't be held up looking for employment, because your girl was out. So I got to the DMV and started putting my life together. I really started my spiritual journey, but in private, because I still... at the time, I wasn't able to show them the vulnerable parts of me, because hell, I was still trying to learn how to, figure it out for my damn self. Although it was scary, I didn't regret it. I didn't regret shit. Nothing that happened. Me and my ex was actually able to let the shit boil over and talk for closure. I was able to bond and live with one of my best friends / sister / cousin and my niece, and grinded my way back up. And I held myself accountable. I made better decisions. I worked on my anger. Although I had another situation with a close call and was banned from a restaurant, but again, another story for another episode. But I have been better since, and I still continue to grow. I let go and I heal while helping as many people as I can. Your story or your past is nothing to be ashamed of. So please, if you find yourself thinking like that, remind yourself that it happened and it already passed if your ass is able to look back and reflect. So why the hell are you letting it live rent-free in your mind? Instead, you need to remember everything about it and identify all of the things that did not represent the best version of yourself and put it into a folder labeled I. Okay, repeat it. I. That means that's a no. That's a no for you. And when that come up, you got to act accordingly. You got to show up. You got to be responsible for your actions. And when that come up and you use it as a guide, you're going to allow it to guide your ass and shape your path that you are proud to live and brag about. Show me a motherfucking person without a past. Shit, your spirit and soul never dies. So if you are allowing the things this lifetime stop you from living, you better adjust not only your fucking eyes, but mine. Because, baby, you need to research how many past lives we have that can have an effect on us in this lifetime. Shit, it might be a damn hex, a curse, or bad karma on you or in your bloodline. Don't be afraid to research the things you think you don't like so you can know all the facts, and it helps to quiet the noise and provides clear but wiser perspective. Okay, tribe, y'all know the drill. That wraps up episode 6 on the part 2 series of the Free Your Mind questions. Ask yourselves, what have been the most defining moments that have helped shape your life? What is the most courageous thing you've done? And how did it make you feel? And don't think I haven't noticed y'all asses not doing your part and sharing your answers to the questions. And I'm praying for y'all asses, and maybe at the end of the series, the universe sends y'all some courage. But I love y'all anyway. Tune in next week for episode 7. That's it for this episode, y'all. As always, thank you for tuning in to Sims Vessel Podcast. I really appreciate the love and support. I pray you were able to take away something from this episode or pass it along to somebody in need. Remember, a seed can't grow unless you water it. So get your ass up and bless up. I love y'all. Later.